CreepyCorner stories.
Hey folks, before we dive into tonight's stories, I want to give a huge thank you to Kieran Tibbetts and Lisa Collin for supporting the channel and being amazing members. If you'd like to help me keep creating these stories, feel free to become a member. It really helps the channel grow. I'm planning to continue exploring more than just the dark web tales, so if you enjoy what you hear tonight, you're in the right place. Now, grab your headphones, turn off the lights, and let's step into another amazing night with you and me together. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. It means the world to me and helps keep the horror alive. And tell me in the comments, what kind of story hits you the hardest? The ones that feel too real, or the ones that could actually happen to someone you know? I bought Salvia from the dark web. I got stuck for 15 years in a 7-minute trip. Weeks later, I met the same family from my trip. Yo. So this story isn't something I ever thought I'd actually share. And honestly, I still don't know if anyone's gonna believe me. But if you're the type to watch late night horror YouTube videos or scroll through Argos/no sleep until 4 a.m. like I used to, this is the one that's gonna stick with you. I'm not here to teach you a lesson or preach or warn you not to do drugs. I'm just here to tell you what happened. You can call me Mike. I'm 24 now, but this all started just last year when I was 23, living alone in a small apartment in upstate New York, working a boring night shift and spending way too much time on Reddit, Discord, and those weird parts of the internet where things get off. The thing is, I've always had a thing for weird experiences, not necessarily like ghost hunter type stuff, but more like fringe internet culture, ORGs, deep web videos, creepy conspiracy threads, all that dark rabbit hole YouTube crap. I'm not easily freaked out. Or I wasn't. So one weekend, I had 3 days off, and I thought, screw it. I'm gonna try Salvia. Not like the head shop kind. I'd done that before in college. One hit, 15 minutes of collars and melting couches. Big deal. I wanted something deeper, weirder, the kind of Salvia you hear about in those shady 3 a.m. storytime videos with lo-fi horror music and a guy breathing too hard into the mic. And that's how I ended up on a certain part of the dark web. I'm not going to give you the site name or any links because honestly, I don't think it even exists anymore. It was like one of those onion sites you can only access through Tor, password protected, ultra minimal layout, with nothing but black background, red text, and this one category called chemical gateways. I remember the warning at the top. It literally said, "This product is not for fun. This is a key. If you use it wrong, don't come looking for us. You won't find your way back." Dramatic, right? But me being me, I thought it was just some edgy marketing gimmick, like the way energy drinks say, extreme death cherry flavor, or whatever. I paid in crypto. Cost me about $230. 3 days later, I got a small black padded envelope in my mailbox, no return address, with only one thing inside, a tiny glass vial filled with dark green powder. No label, no instructions. I'll be honest, I hesitated, like something about the way the powder clung to the glass felt unnatural. It wasn't fluffy like regular salvia extract. It was dense, almost like it was alive in there. And when I shook it a little, it didn't move the way normal powder moves. It sort of squirmed. I know how that sounds. I know, but bear with me. That night, I set everything up. Clean bong, water filtered, candles for vibe, and my phone on Do Not Disturb. Just me, my LED lights, and a cheap Amazon yoga mat on the living room floor. I scooped what I thought was a regular amount into the bowl, maybe too much, and hit the flame. I held the smoke in. 10 seconds. 20. By the time I exhaled, I was already gone. Now, here's where it gets weird. People always say Salvia is like time collapsing in on itself, or like being launched into a cartoon universe. That's not what happened to me. I didn't see colors. I didn't see fractals. I woke up somewhere else. Not metaphorically, not mentally. I mean, I was physically somewhere else. I was lying in a bed. Not my bed. It was old, like 1970s motel ugly. Yellow sheets, brown carpet, no windows. The air smelled like metal and mildew, and everything had this yellow-green tint, like an old VHS tape. The ceiling fan above me was spinning too fast. Way too fast. Like it should have flown off and killed me. I sat up, confused, and immediately noticed that my body felt older. Not ancient, but not 23 anymore either. I had stubble. My arms looked different. Thicker, maybe a little scarred. My voice, when I coughed, deeper. That's when I noticed the calendar on the wall. It said June 2038, and my brain went full static. I tried to run outside, but the hallway just looped, like I kept turning corners, opening doors, but somehow always ended back in the same brown carpet hallway, with a vending machine that only sold expired Fanta and those weird pink wafer cookies. But I wasn't alone. Every once in a while, I'd see them, this family, a man, a woman, and 2 kids, dressed like they were stuck in the early 2000s. Mom had those Karen-style jeans with the thick white sneakers, Dad had frosted tips, and the kids, blank, pale, smiling too wide. They never blinked. They'd just appear in the hallway with me, always at the far end, just watching. I tried talking to them once. The dad stepped forward, tilted his head, and said, "You're early." Then they disappeared. This went on for what felt like years. I had memories. I built memories in that place. I ate strange food from the vending machine that somehow kept me full. I had dreams inside the dream. I started writing in the backs of torn wallpaper just to keep track of time. I counted birthdays. I even remember having a beard for a while. 15 years. That's how long I was there. I tried everything. Breaking windows. There were none. Screaming. No echo. Even stabbing myself with broken glass from a picture frame just to see if I'd wake up. I didn't. It hurt and I bled, but I never woke up until I did. And here's the craziest part. When I finally came back to my apartment, it was as if no time had passed, like I had just blinked. The bong was still in front of me. The smoke barely cleared. My phone still said 10:22 p.m., but I remembered everything. The smell, the hallway, the family, the vending machine, the feeling of being trapped in that place for over a decade. I ran to the bathroom and checked the mirror. Same face, same body, 23-year-old me. And for a few days, I thought that was the end. A crazy trip, maybe a near-death experience, or some insane chemical reaction in my brain. Until last week, I was at a random Starbucks in Brooklyn with some friends, just trying to feel normal again. I went to throw out my cup and froze, because right there, at the corner table by the window, was the family. Same outfits, same smiles, same dead eyes. The dad saw me, lifted his paper cup like a toast, and mouthed the words, "Welcome back." Okay, so, if you haven't read part 1, do that first. Seriously, because this is where things get way more messed up. Let me just say this again so it hits. I smoked a weird strain of Salvia from the dark web, blacked out, and spent what felt like 15 actual years in some bizarre, looping motel hallway world with a creepy-ass family that looked straight out of a Sears catalog from 2003. Then I woke up on my floor, and only 7 minutes had passed. Thought it was over until last week when I saw the exact same family sitting in a Brooklyn Starbucks. Not people that looked like them. Them. Exactly the same. Same frosted tips. Same fake smiles. Same way they stared at me like they were waiting for something. So here's what happened after that. The Starbucks incident. After I saw them, I completely froze. My stomach dropped like I just missed the last step on the stairs. My heart was hammering so hard in my ears, I could barely hear the espresso machine behind the counter. They didn't say anything, just watched. The mom sipped her drink with this slow, mechanical rhythm, like she wasn't even tasting it. The kids didn't blink, not once. I swear to you, I stared for almost a full minute, and their faces didn't move. I did what any sane person would do. I ran, dropped my cup, bolted out the door without even grabbing my jacket. My friends were like, "Yo, Mike, what the?" But I didn't answer. I full-on sprinted 3 blocks to the nearest bodega, ducked inside behind the chip aisle, and just stood there for 10 minutes, hyperventilating between Cool Ranch Doritos and off-brand gummy bears. Eventually, I made it home, locked every window, double-chained my door, didn't sleep that night. And then things started getting even stranger. My apartment changed. You ever walk into your own room and just feel like something's off? Like everything's in the same spot, but wrong? That's how it felt when I got back. My couch looked slightly too new. My TV remote wasn't on the table where I'd left it. My apartment smelled faintly like lemon cleaning spray, and I don't use that. And here's the worst part. My bathroom mirror had a small crack in the corner, but I remembered breaking that mirror in the trip, back in the motel world. It had the exact same crack I'd made with a glass shard when I tried to wake up. I started panicking. Did I bring something back with me? Or worse, did I ever actually leave the voice notes? A few nights later, I woke up to a buzz on my phone. It was around 3:08 a.m. I hadn't set any alarms, no calls, just one new notification, a voice memo from me. Except, I didn't record it. It was titled 13 years, 4 months, 2 days. It was exactly 37 seconds long, and when I hit play, it was just me, my voice, older, hoarse, whispering something over and over. Don't forget the red door. Don't forget the red door. They don't live here. They're only pretending. The audio glitched halfway through, and I swear to God, the voice changed. Just slightly. Almost like someone was mimicking my tone. It said, "The motel is bleeding. You left it open." Then it cut off. I checked the metadata of the file. It was created 6 months ago, while I was supposedly living a normal life, before I ever bought the Salvia. How is that possible? The red door? I didn't know what it meant at first. I don't remember seeing a red door in the motel world, but now I think I was wrong. I started combing through the memories, what few I could still access. Most of them are jumbled, dreamlike, but one moment came back clear. On what felt like my 6th year inside the motel loop, I had found a janitor's closet. It was sealed with a bright red door. I never opened it. I remember thinking it felt off, even for that place. I touched the handle once and felt a shock, like it bit me. What if that was a way out? Or worse, what if opening it would have let something else in? Social media glitches. Now here's where it really got unexplainable. My Instagram started acting up. Posts I never made started appearing on my timeline. Pictures of me in places I've never been. Like one was a selfie of me at some rural gas station in Nevada, except I've never been west of Ohio. Another showed me sitting at a table across from the dad of the weird family. Same frosted tips, same denim jacket, but the caption said, "Family reunion. Don't forget the soda." It had 0 likes, no comments, and no matter how many times I deleted them, they just reappear a few hours later. My TikTok For You page started showing me those animated horror stories, except they were about me, my username, my face. One of them even showed the motel hallway, the vending machine, the family, with text that said, "He left the door open. He thinks he got away. He didn't. The McDonald's drive-thru." Okay, this sounds dumb, but trust me, it's important. A few days ago, I was spiraling hard and decided to just do something normal. Drove to the nearest McDonald's at like 10 p.m. just to grab a McFlurry, clear my head, you know. I pull up to the drive-thru. Everything looks chill. I give my order. The worker's voice is kinda staticky, but I don't think much of it. I drive up to the window, and the guy just stares at me. His face is pale, eyes wide, mouth slightly open. Then he leans forward and whispers, "She's in your fridge." Didn't even give me my food. I peeled out of there like I was being chased. Got home, flung open the fridge, like an idiot expecting to see a body or something, but it was just empty. Except for one thing, a single unmarked soda can, ice cold, frosted with condensation. I didn't put it there. No logo, just a black can. Red text. It read, "Drink to remember, or don't." I haven't touched it. It's still in there. But I swear, every night I hear the faint hiss of carbonation coming from the kitchen, like it's opening on its own. The night camera. So I finally broke. Set up a motion-activated camera in my living room just to ease my paranoia. Hooked it to my phone, let it run overnight. Next morning, I checked the footage. At 2:12 a.m., the camera clicked on. No one was visible at first. Just my empty living room, bathed in moonlight. Then the screen glitched, skipped a few frames, and there they were, the family, sitting on my couch, all 4 of them, just staring into the camera, like they knew I'd be watching it later. The dad raised a finger to his lips, "Shh," and smiled. Then the frame skipped again, and they were gone. Now every night I hear footsteps above me. I live on the top floor. My phone rings once at exactly 3:08 a.m. No caller ID, just breathing. I haven't slept in 4 days. I don't know if I ever left the motel world. I don't know if this is just another layer of the trip, another hallway with prettier wallpaper. But if that's the case, then why is someone using my face on other people's accounts? Why are people recognizing me in public when I've never met them before? And who the hell left a soda can in my fridge with my blood type written under the tab? Just a warning. This is where everything stops feeling like a creepy coincidence and starts feeling like a setup. Like something planned this. Like I wasn't tripping. I was chosen. If you're just catching up, read parts 1 and 2, or this won't make any sense. But if you've been following along, yeah, let's talk about the red door, the police report. So after the Starbucks incident, the voice memo, the black soda can in my fridge, The CCTV footage of the Deadeye family sitting on my couch. I snapped. I caved and went to the police. Yeah, I know. Dumb move. They don't believe this kind of thing. But I wasn't thinking realistically at that point. I just wanted someone else to witness something. Anything. So I walk into the station, sit down with this officer named Reed. Late 40s, coffee breath, beard that looks like it was glued on 5 minutes before his shift. I tell him everything except the Salvia part. I said someone broke into my place, left objects, possibly hacked my social media, maybe even drugged me. Dude listens, nods, types. Then he says, "You said they were sitting on your couch. You have footage?" Finally, a chance to prove I'm not losing it. I open my laptop, pull up the video, press play. But this time, the footage doesn't show the family. It shows me, just me, sleeping on the couch. No glitches, no cuts, no creepy family. I swear I saved the right video. I swear it was there the night before. But it's like something or someone replaced the file. Reed closes his notepad. "You sure you're not just stressed, son?" I tried to tell him about the voice memo, the soda can, the weird posts, the guy at McDonald's. He looks at me with that, "Okay, maybe you need therapy" face. Then he asks, "Have you ever experimented with any kind of psychedelics, Michael?" I didn't answer. He didn't file anything. He gave me a pamphlet for mental crisis support. I walked out of there, realizing no one was coming to help me. And that's when things really escalated. The hidden room. 2 nights after the police station, I heard something in my apartment. Not footsteps, not voices, breathing, coming from behind my bedroom wall. So I did what any idiot main character in a horror movie does. I pressed my ear to the wall, and I swear on everything, I heard someone whisper, "We've been waiting longer than you've been alive." I lost it. I grabbed a flashlight and started checking every inch of my apartment, every cabinet, closet, vent. Nothing. Then I noticed something that made my chest tighten. There was a rectangular outline on the wall behind my bookshelf. Not a drawing, not cracks. A door-shaped outline, like the wall used to open. And that outline was faintly tinted red, like someone painted over it, but the color was bleeding through. I moved the bookshelf, started pressing on the wall, knocked around until I heard a hollow sound. There. Hidden door. I don't know what came over me, but I started peeling back the paint, the drywall. My hands were shaking so bad I cut my finger on the edge, but I didn't stop. Under the wall, a metal handle. Same style as the one in the motel. Same red color. Same feeling that if I opened it, I wouldn't like what was on the other side. I sat there for an hour just staring at it. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. No message. Just one picture. A photo of me sitting on the floor in front of the red door, taken from inside the wall. I hadn't opened it. Someone else already had. The contact. You know how sometimes TikTok randomly recommends a live stream with like 14 viewers and 0 context. That happened the next morning, except the username caught my eye. At Chemical Gateways, same name as the category from the dark website where I ordered the Salvia. The stream showed a shaky camera pointed at a motel hallway. The hallway, same brown carpet, same buzzing ceiling light, same vending machine. Only difference? This time, the red door was wide open. Comments were disabled. The viewer count stayed at 15 the whole time. I watched for 5 minutes. No movement, no audio. Then the camera slowly turned, like someone was holding it and shifting it toward a mirror. And in the reflection, I saw something. Not the person holding the camera, Me. Older. Same beard I had in the trip. Same scar on my hand from breaking the mirror in there. He looked directly into the mirror like he knew I was watching and said, "You shouldn't have left it cracked." Stream ended. Account vanished. TikTok crashed. The red note I slept maybe 2 hours that night. When I woke up, something was taped to my front door. White paper. No envelope. It said, in perfect red handwriting, "You're not supposed to remember the 15 years, but you do. That means you were meant to return." Underneath was an address, a real one. A rundown motel off Route 9, just outside Albany. The same one from the trip, the same one from the live stream. And whoever left the note wrote one last sentence. Check in before midnight. Room 14. I haven't gone there yet, but the thing is, I think I have to, because whatever I let through that red door, it's already here. It involves the motel in real life, what or who was in room 14, and the truth about why the family never ages. And trust me, the 15 years weren't the trap. Coming back was. Alright, this is the part I've been dreading writing. If you've been following the story, you already know the setup. I took a weird strain of Salvia from the dark web, got trapped in a looping motel reality for what felt like 15 years, woke up 7 minutes later, started seeing the same family from the trip in real life, found a red door inside my apartment, got a note telling me to go to a real motel with the same layout. That motel is real. And I went. So here's what happened. The drive. The note said, check in before midnight. Room 14. Everything in me said don't go, but everything around me kept getting worse. Doors in my house opening on their own. Random strangers saying phrases from the trip. Lights flickering at exactly 3:08 a.m. every night. It felt like I was being pushed, like someone already knew I'd go. So I packed my phone, a flashlight knife. Useless, but it made me feel better. Portable charger. One change of clothes. The soda can from my fridge, still sealed. I got in my car around 6 p.m. and drove toward Route 9. If you've ever taken a long drive alone at night, you know that feeling where the world starts looking too empty. Like even gas stations and billboards feel like props in a movie background. It was like that, but worse. My GPS glitched twice. Spotify kept stopping like someone was turning the volume down manually. Even the streetlights were spaced too far apart, like the darkness was swallowing the road in between. At 11:32 p.m., I pulled up to it. The motel from my trip. It was real. Same sickly yellow walls. Same warped neon vacancy sign, blinking on and off like a dying heartbeat. Same buzzing overhead lights. Even the pavement looked identical, cracked in the same spots, like someone recreated it from memory. The front office was lit from inside. A single desk, a bell, and behind it, a man, except his back was turned, facing the wall. I rang the bell once. He didn't move. Twice. Nothing. Finally, I said, I'm here for room 14? And he turned around. It was the dad from the family. Same frosted tips, same denim jacket, same blank expression. Except this time, he blinked and smiled. You're late. I checked my phone. 11:58 p.m. I didn't reply, didn't move, didn't breathe. He slid a key across the counter. Old metal key. Brass. Tag said 14. Then he said, you remember more than the others. That's why we kept your room ready. I didn't ask what he meant. I took the key, walked outside. The air smelled exactly like the trip. Old carpet and cheap air freshener. I counted the doors. 10, 11, 12, 13, room 14. The door was the same color as the one behind my apartment wall, faded red. Room 14. The key turned like it had been used 100 times before, by me. The room was small. Bed, old TV, brown carpet, curtains that didn't match. Except this time, there was something new. A mirror on the wall. And in the reflection, the vending machine, the hallway, from the other side. Like the trip wasn't a hallucination, just a view. I walked closer. The reflection lagged for half a second behind me, like someone else was controlling it. Then I noticed something. There were carvings scratched into the wall beside the mirror. Hundreds of lines, words, names, dates. And I realized they were mine. Every scratch mark, every note I wrote in the trip to keep track of years. It wasn't a dream. It was real. And I was here again. The ceiling. I heard a creak above me. Slow, heavy, dragging footsteps. Like someone was pacing back and forth. Except it wasn't walking. It sounded wrong. Like the weight kept shifting in angles a body shouldn't bend. Then came the whisper through the ceiling. You were supposed to stay. I backed toward the door. It slammed shut on its own. The lock turned. Lights flickered red. And then the TV turned on. The tape static first. Then a video started playing. Grainy. VHS quality. It showed me, but older. Late 30s, 40s, longer hair, beard, same scar on my hand, same eyes. He was sitting on the same motel bed I was standing in front of. He looked directly into the camera and said, "If you're watching this, it means you left again, and you'll want to leave again. But you need to understand something. This place isn't a hallucination. It's a waiting room." He pointed at the mirror. "They don't live in our world. We live in theirs. Every time we break through, they decide whether to keep us or release us." He held up the same black soda can I brought with me. "If you drink this, you remember everything. If you don't, you forget, and they recycle you. Over and over. 7 minutes here, 15 years there." Then he leaned closer, but this time, they're not letting go. Video cut. TV went black. Room went silent. Then someone, or something, knocked on the door. 3 times. Slow, deliberate. The knock. I didn't answer. I didn't speak. I just stood there frozen, holding the soda can. Then the voice behind the door said, "Michael, you already opened it once. Let us finish what you started, and I swear." The door breathed, like it had lungs. I backed up into the mirror, and the reflection changed. Same room, same bed. But instead of me, the family was standing inside the mirror room. All 4 of them, and the kids were closer now, smiling, like they were waiting for me to step through. And then, the worst part, the reflection wasn't mirroring my movements anymore. At exactly 12:01 a.m., my phone buzzed. Notification from an unknown app I didn't install. It said, "Checkout denied. Stay until complete." I'm writing this from the motel right now. The red door behind me just pulsed like a heartbeat. The mirror version of me is gone. The family hasn't moved in 10 minutes. And I think the version of me I saw on the tape was right. The 15 years weren't the accident. They were the test. All right, this is it. The final part. If you've made it this far, through the trip, the motel, the mirror, the family, the voice notes, the red door, then you already know this isn't your typical creepy story. It never was. This isn't some messed up campfire tale. This isn't one of those fake animated horror stories with jump scares and bad narration. I've lived every second of this, and I think You've probably lived some of it too. You just don't remember yet. But we'll get to that. Let me take you back to room 14. The mirror broke first. Last time I left off, I was locked inside the real-life version of the motel room where I spent 15 years during that 7-minute dark web Salvia trip. Same layout, same brown carpet, same buzzing light. But now, I was awake, in real time, with the black soda can in my hand, and the mirror across from me was no longer showing my reflection. It was showing them, the family, standing inside the mirror room, looking right into mine, unmoving, grinning. And that version of me, the older me who made the videotape, was gone. I started thinking maybe I was wrong about this whole thing being some supernatural glitch. Maybe it wasn't a trip, or a dream, or a drug-induced psychosis. Maybe I didn't break through to another world. Maybe I broke through to a deeper layer of the same one. And maybe I wasn't supposed to make it back, so I did the dumb thing. I stepped toward the mirror, and that's when the glass cracked. No impact, no sound, just this slow, spidery shatter from the inside out, like something behind it was pressing forward. That's when I finally realized. The mirror. It was never a window. It was a seal. And I just broke it. The door opened. Behind me, before I could even turn around, I felt the temperature drop in the room. Like someone opened a freezer full of dead air. Then came the creak. The red door, the one I'd seen in the motel during my trip, the one hidden in my apartment wall, the one that wasn't even part of the floor plan. It opened. It didn't swing or creak or slam. It just peeled open, like skin splitting down the middle. The inside wasn't a hallway. It wasn't another room. It was black, like pitch black ink, swirling in slow motion. But even in that darkness, I saw eyes, hundreds of them, all shapes, all blinking out of sync. And somewhere in that abyss, I heard laughter. Not the family, children, dozens of voices, all chanting something. I couldn't understand it at first, but the more I listened, the more the words started to form. Drink, drink, drink. Remember, remember, stay. That's when I looked down at the soda can still in my hand, still cold, still unopened. The soda can. Let me explain what I think it really was. I don't think it was just a weird artifact or token from the other side. I think it was a trigger, a failsafe, a choice, but not really. All along, I was led to believe that drinking it would restore my memories. Let me understand what really happened in the motel, what I brought back, why they followed me, why they watched me sleep. But now I understood. It wasn't for remembering. It was for binding. The can only appears to people who escape too early, people like me. And once you drink it, you stop running. You stop glitching between layers of reality. You stay where they can keep you. Forever. So I did what any dumb human would do. I opened it. The hiss of the carbonation wasn't right. It didn't sound like soda. It sounded like breathing. The smell, rotten sugar and blood. I took one sip, and everything inside my brain shattered. What I saw, people think Salvia makes you hallucinate. It doesn't. Salvia pulls back the skin of the world and shows you what's underneath. That motel, not a location, not even a construct. It's a gate. One of many, spread all over the world. Most people pass by them and never notice. Sometimes they show up in dreams, sometimes in near-death experiences, sometimes in old memory fragments from childhood that don't make sense. The gate exists in the forgotten space between life and death, between awareness and oblivion, a hallway that never ends, until it decides to. And the family, they're keepers, not ghosts, not demons, not AI glitches. They're what's left of people who stayed too long. I saw it. After drinking the soda, I saw their lives before they changed. The dad was a paramedic who flatlined for 6 minutes. The mom overdosed in a bathtub in 1998. The kids, hit by a car in front of a McDonald's in Ohio. All of them brought back. All of them remembered. And now, they remember everything. That's why they smile. Because they know you're not supposed to. What happens if you stay? Let me be real for a second. Most people do forget. They smoke something. They take something. They dream something. And when they come back, it's gone. Memory fog. Like it never happened. Because that's the rule. The unspoken pact. If you see what's behind the door, you have to forget. But if you don't, then they send the family. And me? I remembered. I wrote about it. I posted it. I let people know. And that's why, even now, I'm not free. Because now you remember too. The ending. You don't want. After the soda, I blacked out. Woke up back in my apartment. Same position. Same bong on the table. 7 minutes had passed. Everything looked normal again. No voices, no doors, no mirror. I thought maybe I imagined all of it, until I looked at my phone and saw the photo. A picture of you, reading the story, sitting exactly where you are now, and under it, a caption. Next check-in, 3:08 a.m. Room 15 is ready. The real question. So now I'm asking you the question I never got to answer. Will you drink it? Because you will find the soda. Maybe not tonight. Maybe not this week. But one day you'll open your fridge and it'll be there. No label. Just a black can. Condensation on the outside. Red text. Drink to remember. Or don't. But either way, they already know your name. And when it's your turn to check in, they'll be waiting. Smiling. Patient. Because they never left. And neither will you. I bought Lucid death from the dark web. I died for 3 minutes, and I miss it. Welp, fuck it. My dream was to see what's on the other side of the world. First off, this is not one of those fake-ass spooky stories written by a guy trying to be Edgar Allan Poe with a Twitter addiction. I'm not here to write pretty sentences or make you think about life and death in a deep, philosophical way. I'm here to tell you what actually happened to me. Something that still messes with my head, and I think it's getting worse. My name's Josh. I'm 22, and I live in a tiny town outside of Denver. Nothing ever happens here unless someone gets drunk and drives into a Taco Bell sign. I work part-time at a UPS warehouse and do some freelance video editing for TikTok influencers on the side. Pretty average stuff, right? I'm into weird internet rabbit holes, ORGs, horror subreddits, disturbing YouTube channels that shouldn't be online but somehow never get taken down. That type of content always scratched that itch for me. Like I wanted to feel something more than just boredom and doom scrolling. So yeah, I got curious. Stupid curious. It started on Discord. I'm part of a server called Digital Abyss. It's mostly nerds, horror fans, and wannabe hackers. Someone in there posted a link. No message, just a Tor link and a skull emoji. You already know where this is going. I'd used the dark web before, mostly for morbid curiosity. I never bought anything, just browsed weird forums, saw some strange services, the usual creepy pasta IRL. But this time, I was feeling reckless. Maybe because I just got dumped. Maybe because I hadn't slept properly in 2 days. Maybe because I'm a fucking idiot. I clicked it. It brought me to a black site with red glitchy text. No header, no graphics, just one page and one sentence in the center. Buy Lucid Death. Experience your afterlife early. I stared at it for like 10 minutes. The price was $349.99. Not cheap, but not crazy for the dark web either. Underneath it said, "Warning, side effects may include loss of time, memory fractures, near-death psychosis, dissociation, and spiritual dependency. Purchase implies consent. No refunds." Now, I don't do drugs, never have, but I've read about DMT and ayahuasca trips and the way people describe seeing entities and feeling like they died. That fascinated me. I wanted that, but the idea of actually dying, even better. So, like a total dumbass, I transferred the Bitcoin. 24 hours later, a brown Amazon box, yeah, legit Amazon branded, showed up at my doorstep. No return address. Inside was a silver vape pen with no branding and a tiny red USB drive. The vape had the letters LD engraved on it in tiny cursive script. The USB had one file, an MP4 called read_me_before_you_inhale.mp4. It was a low quality video of a guy wearing a plastic smiley face mask, sitting in a room that looked like it was lit only by a bug zapper. His voice was scrambled, like one of those YouTube videos where they pitch it down to hide identity. He just said, "Once you inhale, your body will die for approximately 3 minutes. You will not feel your heartbeat. You will not breathe. Do not panic. You will not be able to scream. You will not be able to move. But you will see everything." Then he chuckled, not like an evil laugh, more like someone remembering an inside joke, only they find funny. Whatever you do, when it offers you the deal, say no the first time. That's the only warning I'm giving you. And the video ended. I remember pacing around my room after watching that, vape in hand, heart racing, like I just saw my own funeral on Instagram Live. Now here's the thing. I could have just tossed it. I could have deleted the USB, blocked the Discord server, and gone back to editing Instagram Reels for this one girl who fakes her vacations with green screen backgrounds. But no. I sat down, shut my door, locked it, and dimmed the lights. Just like in a horror movie, where the dumb guy walks into the haunted attic on purpose. I hit record on my phone. I needed proof, right? More on that later. I took a deep breath and hit the vape. The flavor was weird, like cold metal mixed with burnt sugar and something rotten. I only got one pull in before everything went black, but not like falling asleep, not even like passing out, more like I blinked. And when I opened my eyes, I was floating. No body, no weight, no noise, just this space, like a void, but with texture. You ever see those old Windows XP screensavers that look like you were flying through a tunnel made of stars? Imagine that, but alive, like the walls were breathing, and then something was watching me. I couldn't see it, not at first, but I felt it, like static in my teeth and pressure in my skull. I tried to look around, but I didn't have a head. I didn't even have eyes, but I could see everything. And then it appeared. Not a monster, not a demon, not some cliche horror thing. It was me, but not really. This version of me had no eyes, just skin where eyes should be. His mouth was twitching like he was trying to smile, but couldn't remember how. He moved in these jittery, glitched out motions, like a corrupted Snapchat filter, trying to track a face and failing. And then he spoke, but not with his mouth. His voice was in my head, loud and mechanical and wet. I can give you more. More of this. No pain. No time. Just forever. I tried to scream. I couldn't. My mind was on fire, like I could feel my brain folding inside itself. And then I snapped back, woke up gasping like I just got pulled out of a frozen lake. My heart was pounding so hard it actually hurt. My lips were blue. Like I checked in the mirror and thought I had frostbite. My Apple Watch said my heart rate had dropped to 0 for almost 3 minutes. My phone, still recording. But the weirdest part? The file was corrupted. No audio. Just this faint static. And at one point, a frame where it looked like I was floating 2 feet above my bed. No lie. That was 2 weeks ago. Since then, I haven't slept more than a couple hours a night. Every time I close my eyes, I see him. The other me. He's smiling now. Wider each time. Like he's getting closer. And I swear to God, sometimes I see him in reflections that aren't mine. Like in my kitchen window. Or my rearview mirror. Or my TikTok front camera when it lags just for a second. And I think I want to go back, but I'm scared of what he'll offer me next time. Alright, back again. I didn't expect part 1 to blow up the way it did, so thanks. Kind of weird seeing my near-death experience get more upvotes than anything I've ever posted on Instagram. But hey, that's Reddit for you. Anyway, a lot of you asked if I still have the vape, if I'm going to hit it again, or if I'm making this up for karma. I wish it was fake. I really do. But every single day since that night has gotten a little bit worse. And now I'm starting to think I didn't just see something while I was dead. I think I brought something back. The morning after I used Lucid Death, I tried to act normal. Went to work at UPS, scanned packages, pretended like my heart didn't literally stop the night before. I kept telling myself it was just a hallucination, a trip, a weird nightmare mixed with sleep paralysis. But then things started happening. Small things at first, like my phone's front camera glitching when I'd open Snapchat. Not a normal glitch, not the app crashed kind. This was more like the screen froze for half a second, and instead of my face, I'd see a frame of something behind me, or beside me, or what looked like me, but wasn't me. I thought maybe it was just the camera bugging out, until I noticed something else. My battery kept dying exactly at 3:03 a.m. every night, even when it was at 80%, even if it was plugged in. I'd wake up at 3:04 every single time, with my phone dead and my room ice cold. Not, I forgot to turn the AC off, cold, like I was sleeping in a morgue. Then the dream started. And by dreams, I mean the same exact place I went when I hit the vape. That star tunnel void. Like it wasn't a hallucination at all, but a place my mind could dial into now. Except this time, I wasn't floating alone. The other me was always there, and he didn't glitch anymore. He just watched me, quiet, smiling, like he was waiting for something. Sometimes he'd tilt his head like a dog listening to something far away. Sometimes he'd mouth words I couldn't hear. One night, I finally asked him, or maybe thought at him, "What do you want?" He didn't answer. Instead, something behind him moved. Something huge. Something I couldn't see fully, but I felt it. Like gravity bending, like pressure building behind my eyes. And then I heard it. A voice, but not like a voice at all. More like a crowd whispering in unison, packed into one sound. "You came back empty. Next time, don't leave alone." I woke up choking on air I couldn't swallow, like I forgot how to breathe. I fell out of bed and crawled to the bathroom. When I looked in the mirror, my nose was bleeding. My eyes were bloodshot, like I'd been crying for hours. But I hadn't been crying. I hadn't even been alive. That morning, I called in sick and stayed home. I needed to talk to someone, so I went back into that Discord server, Digital Abyss, and asked if anyone else had tried Lucid Death. At first, no one answered. Then I got a DM from a user named Nullchain. No profile pic, no mutual servers, just a message. "You did it, didn't you?" I asked him how he knew. He replied, "Because I did too, and they don't let go." I tried calling him on Discord voice. He declined. Then he sent me a zip file called The Warning. Inside were 3 things. A screenshot of the Lucid Death site, but the price was $999.99, not $349.99. A 14-second audio file of someone whispering in a language I didn't recognize. A PDF titled After Effects. The PDF was basically a list of symptoms, but way deeper than the warning video I got. Shadow self, manifestation, entity tethering sleep, hijacking dimensional bleed-through system, memory override physical re-entry attempts. That last one freaked me out the most. Under it, in bold red letters, it said, "If the reflection smiles before you do, you're not the one in control anymore." I shut my laptop and literally had to walk outside just to feel air, cars, people, anything normal. I walked to Starbucks, stood in line behind a group of high schoolers talking about TikToks and Travis Scott burgers like real life wasn't melting around me. When I got my drink, I saw my reflection in the glass door, and I swear on everything, I wasn't smiling, but my reflection was. Not a big smile, just a slight one, almost like a preview. I froze. People behind me were saying, "Excuse me," but I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I forced myself to leave, but the whole walk home, every reflective surface, car mirrors, windows, even the black screen of my phone when it locked, showed it. Not me. A version of me who was already dead and wanted me to join him again. And the worst part? Last night, the voice came back in a dream. Same line. "Next time, don't leave alone." Except this time, it added something new. "We're already here." I woke up with someone standing at the end of my bed, but when I turned the light on, nobody was there. At least, I think nobody was there. Think of this part the same way Luna tells a story, where everything feels chill at first, casual, kind of funny even, until it suddenly isn't, and you're already too deep to climb out. So yeah, buckle up. This is the longest part so far, and honestly, probably the one I hate thinking about the most. After the Starbucks incident, the reflection smiling when I wasn't, I tried to avoid mirrors. Not in a crazy way. I just stopped looking directly at anything reflective if I could help it. I even covered the mirror in my room with a blanket, like some kind of paranoid vampire. But that didn't stop anything, because it wasn't just reflections anymore. It was showing up outside of them too. The first time I noticed, it was on a public bus. Yeah, I don't drive every day, especially when I barely sleep. So I took the bus to work, sat near the back, headphones in, hoodie on, just trying to be a background NPC in my own life. Then I look up, and at the front of the bus, in the reflection of that big safety mirror drivers use to look at passengers, I saw myself sitting 2 rows ahead of me, except I wasn't. Like literally, the real me was in the back, slumped in a window seat, but the reflection showed me. Same clothes, same hair, same everything. Sitting straight up with perfect posture, staring at the driver. That version of me didn't blink, didn't move, didn't breathe fog onto the window. Just stared. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it's just some random guy who looks like me. But then, and this is the part where I felt my whole body shut down, that version of me in the reflection turned its head toward the mirror, slow, deliberate, and smiled. Long, wide, too wide. The second I looked away and then looked back, it was gone. The seat was empty, but the space where he was sitting was still warm when I checked. Not a hallucination, not my imagination. He was there. I decided to plug in the USB again, the one that came with the vape. I don't know why. Curiosity, desperation, stupidity. Take your pick. This time, the video file that used to be called Read Me Before You in Hell .mp4 had been replaced. Same file location, same USB, but now the video was called You Brought It Back .mp4. No joke. I didn't rename anything. I clicked it. Same guy with a smiley mask, same bug zapper-lit room, except now there were two figures sitting behind him, both motionless, both blurry, both shaped like people. The masked guy spoke in that scrambled voice again. Some people come back lighter, some come back with passengers. He tilted his head like he was talking through the camera, not to it. Once it learns how to mimic you correctly, it will try to move in. Don't let it finish. I paused the video right there. My hands were shaking, because right below the playback bar, there was a faint reflection in my laptop screen. And it wasn't my reflection, it was me. Same clothes, same room, except smiling, even though my face was completely dead serious. That was the first time I slammed the laptop shut and just left the house without thinking. No jacket, no wallet, just panic. So I walked to McDonald's, not because I wanted food. I just needed bright lights, people, cameras, noise, anything that felt real. I ordered a McChicken and sat alone, scrolling TikTok like nothing was wrong. That's when I got a Snapchat notification from me, my own account. The username matched, the Bitmoji matched, the profile picture matched, everything matched. It was literally my account. The snap was just text. Almost got it right this time. I clicked it. It was a video, filmed in my bedroom at the exact angle I usually record from when I FaceTime friends. Except it wasn't me holding the phone. It was the other me. Same clothes I was wearing right now. Same room set up behind him. Only difference. His smile looked like someone stretched human skin over something that wanted to be human but wasn't. Then he spoke, with my voice, normal tone, normal cadence, like he'd been practicing. I don't need your body forever, just long enough. Then the video ended and a typing bubble appeared, but instead of a message, my real phone shut off by itself. Battery at 74%, dead anyway, at exactly 3:03 p.m. Daytime this time. 3:03, the same time my phone dies every night. That's when I realized 3:03 isn't just a time, it's a timer. It's always counting down, every day, every night, to something. When I got home, my bedroom door was already open. I always close it, always. I stepped inside slowly. The mirror I covered, the blanket was gone, and written on the glass, in the kind of fog you only see on windows after someone breathes on them, were 4 words. Next time, I stay. No signature, no explanation, no reflection. Just the words slowly fading, like they were still warm. And now, here's the part that keeps me up. Last night, I caught something on video. Not a glitch, not an edit, not a shadow. Something walked past my hallway. Same height as me, same walk as me, but I was in bed when it happened, and I wasn't sleepwalking, because the me in the video turned toward the camera and smiled before it knew it was recording. That means it's learning. That means it's aware. That means it's almost ready. Alright, this is it. I know I said things were getting worse in part 3, but this is where it got physical. Not just scary, not just weird. This is where I lost control of my body, like literally, gone, for 7 entire minutes, and I've got proof. So before I even start, quick recap if you're new here, which is wild. Go back to part 1 if you haven't read it, because trust me, this makes zero sense. Sense without context. I bought a vape from the dark web called Lucid Death. Took 1 hit, flatlined for 3 minutes, went to some weird limbo space where I met a glitchy, dead-eyed version of myself who now follows me around in real life, and he wants my body. Cool. Let me tell you about the night I think he almost succeeded. So, a few days after the whole Snapchat from myself incident, I started recording everything in my apartment, like full-on paranoid YouTuber levels of surveillance. I set up an old iPad in my room on a tripod, turned my webcam toward the door, and even used my old Ring cam I had sitting in a drawer and pointed it at the hallway. I figured, if something's trying to take over, I'll at least catch it doing it. For a while, nothing crazy happened, just the usual weirdness. My reflection blinking before I did, my phone freezing at 3:03, little flashes of me showing up in random spots, like reflections in my coffee mug or my TV when it's off. I started to convince myself I was imagining most of it, until Wednesday night. I'd been sleeping with the light on for like 4 nights straight at this point, because screw it. Darkness and mirrors were no longer safe zones. That night, I remember going to sleep around 1:30 a.m. I'd put on some dumb comfort YouTube video. I think it was those guys trying weird McDonald's items in Japan or something. Shout out Ryan and Shane. And just tried to zone out. Everything was chill, normal, until I woke up, gasping, not in a bad dream way, in a drowning way. I looked around. Room was bright, TV still looping a video on mute, but I couldn't move, at all. Sleep paralysis, maybe? I've had it before. It's terrifying, yeah, but I can usually feel it coming. This was different. I could move my eyes, but my arms felt like stone. My legs weren't even there to me. It felt like someone else was inside. And then, my body sat up. I swear to God, I didn't do it. I was trapped behind my own eyes, watching myself sit up in bed. But I wasn't the one doing it. My head turned to the side, then slowly toward the camera, smiled, and then got out of bed. I was still conscious, still thinking, still screaming inside my head like, what the actual hell is happening? And then it walked. I walked out of the bedroom. Now remember, I had cameras recording, and I didn't check them until the next morning because I blacked out at some point while my body was walking around without me. I didn't pass out in the fun nap kind of way. It felt more like my mind got yanked out, like a hard drive being pulled from a laptop while it's still on. Boom. Darkness. I woke up in my bed at 3:10 a.m., drenched in sweat, heart pounding, no memory of anything between 3 and 3:10. But I checked the footage, and what I saw made my entire stomach drop. The camera by my hallway caught me walking out of my room at 3:02. and just standing in the dark hallway. Not moving, not twitching, just standing there for exactly 7 minutes. And then I did something that still haunts me. I walked to the kitchen, opened the drawer with the knives, and pulled one out. Just held it, gripped it in my hand, walked over to the bathroom mirror, and stared, and stared. At one point, and I swear I've rewatched this 100 times, my reflection started moving about half a second ahead of me, like it was trying to get in sync, but wasn't quite there yet. And then it did something I didn't do. It winked. Only the reflection. The me in the video never moved. At 3:10, I just dropped the knife on the counter, walked back to my room, and lay down, eyes open, smiling, like it had tested the water and was getting comfortable. I thought that was the end of it, until I went to take a shower the next morning and saw something carved into the condensation on my bathroom mirror. 7 minutes was easy. No joke. I stood there for what felt like 10 minutes, just staring at it. It was like my body had left me a message, but it wasn't mine anymore. Now here's where this turns real, like verifiable, because I thought maybe I was losing my mind until I got a knock at my door that afternoon. It was a cop, super chill, older guy, asked if I lived alone. I said yeah, obviously, just me. He said they had received a report of someone matching my description walking barefoot down the street outside my building at 3:05 a.m., holding a knife and smiling at parked cars. I laughed nervously and said that wasn't possible. He looked dead serious and said, "You were caught on 2 Ring doorbells, man. But the weird thing is, your face glitches in both videos, like it's out of focus or not being tracked right. Ever seen when a camera can't recognize someone's eyes?" I didn't know what to say. He left me with a warning and a weird look. Later that night, I found a local Facebook group post from someone in the area. It was a screen recording from their Ring cam. You can clearly see me walking down the sidewalk, holding a knife. Only, it's not me. It's the version with the smile, the one that's almost me. And the caption said, "If anyone knows this guy, he was outside our place around 3 a.m., just smiling, didn't ring the bell, just stared and left. WTF. Ever since that night, I've started missing time. I'll zone out for a second while editing video, and suddenly it's dark out. Or I'll blink during a conversation, and someone's looking at me like I said something I don't remember. It's like he's borrowing time now, testing limits, seeing how long he can stay before I come back. Like we're switching places without me knowing. And every time I look in the mirror, that glitch version of me is looking more and more stable, less warped, less broken, more ready. And it's the last one, because I don't know if I'll be the one writing it. If you see a new post from me, and the smile in the thumbnail looks a little too wide, don't trust it. Comment, stay alive, if you're still with me. I need to know I'm not alone, because next time, I don't think I'll come back. Alright, this is it, the last part. And I need you to understand something before I start. I'm not writing this from a place of safety. This isn't one of those, haha, I survived, we all good now endings people expect. I'm writing this because whatever's happening, whatever I brought back from that 3-minute death trip, has almost finished replacing me. And I don't know if by the time this gets posted, I'll still be the one in control. So if the tone feels different, if the writing feels strange, if something feels off, you'll know why. For weeks, I thought 303 was just some creepy recurring glitch, like the digital ghost hour or whatever. But I finally understand it now. 303 isn't when things happen. 303 is when he takes over. 7 minutes the first time, 11 minutes the second, 19 minutes the next. He's learning, stretching, testing. He's not trying to haunt me anymore. He's trying to overwrite me. 2 days ago, my best friend called me, freaking out. She said, "Why did you post that video? What was that even supposed to be?" Confused, I opened TikTok. There was a brand new video on my account, posted at 3:03 a.m. I didn't film it. I didn't edit it. I didn't even have the app open that night. The video was 18 seconds of me, or the other version of me, standing in front of my bathroom mirror, smiling, holding the Lucid death vape. But here's the part that messed me up the most. The caption said, "Almost done. Get ready for the full upload," and pinned in the comments, "Did you miss me?" The account was verified, because it was my account. Same login, same drafts, same everything. There was no trace of editing software, no saved file. It was filmed using my phone's back camera, meaning he held my phone with my hand while I was asleep. There's a theory I found after digging through what remains of that Digital Abyss Discord server. Someone posted a file called "The Mirror Test for Doppelganger Infiltration." It said, if you look into a mirror and see the reflection lagging behind you, that means it's still trapped. If the reflection moves first, it means it's ahead of you now. So last night, I tried it. I set up my phone camera, hit record, stood in front of my bathroom mirror, and stared. No blinking, no moving. After about 20 seconds, I lifted my right hand slowly. My reflection lifted its hand first, not by a lag, by anticipation, like it knew what I was about to do before I did it. That means it's not copying me anymore. I'm copying it. At 3:03 a.m. last night, I woke up, not paralyzed, not choking, just awake, and saw something that finally broke me. Sitting in the chair at my desk was me, leg crossed, hands folded, smiling, but he wasn't flickering anymore. No glitching, no distortion, no uncanny valley movements. Perfect, silent, real. He leaned forward, same voice as mine, only calmer, and said, "You shouldn't have come back alone." Then he stood up, and I blacked out. I woke up on the floor, not the bed. My phone was on my chest. Camera app was open. There was a 41-minute video saved. I don't remember filming it, but I watched the whole thing. I was walking around my apartment, talking, laughing, smiling, doing TikTok transitions, making faces at the camera, speaking in my voice, using my words. But it wasn't me, because I looked peaceful, like someone who finally got what they wanted. At one point in the video, I looked into the camera and said, "He's almost gone. Just a few more uploads. Then we're permanent." And then, dead serious, I stared into the lens and said, "If this gets posted, he didn't win yet. So here I am, posting it, which means I'm still here. Barely. If you ever find the Lucid death site, do not buy it. If you already have it, do not hit it again. If you see yourself somewhere you shouldn't be, it's already too late. They don't want your soul. They want your place. And they wait until you're tired enough, broken enough, curious enough to let them in. If the next post from this account sounds perfectly normal, if I say everything is fine, if I suddenly seem happier, calmer, clearer, that isn't me. That's him. And if you ever see a face that looks exactly like yours, but smiles before you do, run, because he's already practicing, and he only needs one more switch at 3:03. I paid to watch a dark web show called The Fire Room. I didn't expect to smell smoke in my house. Yo, what's up, Reddit? So, I never thought I'd be the type of person to post on here, especially not on r/no sleep. But after everything that's happened over the last few weeks, I don't really know what else to do. I can't sleep. My house smells like burned plastic, even though nothing's on fire, and I think someone's watching me. This is 100% real. I'm not trying to scare anyone just for the sake of it. This is my story. What started as a dumb curiosity spiraled into something I don't think I can ever undo. Let's rewind a bit. I'm 22. I live alone in a crappy apartment in Philly, not far from a McDonald's I used to work at during college. Life's been kinda boring since I dropped out. Uber Eats deliveries during the day, gaming at night, and YouTube videos in between. You know the drill. Now, I'm a big fan of horror. Like real horror. The stuff you find in those late night animated stories on YouTube, or deep dive horror RRGs where everything feels just a little too real. I've been binging channels like Here's My Story, Mr. Nightmare, and Wendigoon, and I'm always looking for that next level of creepy, something I haven't seen. So, when I heard about this so-called fire room from a random Discord server, and I mean random, like 40 members, and all of them had usernames like Burning Angel 666 or Flame Hosted, I got curious. One of the users dropped a link. Not like a regular link either. This was a .onion address. You need the Tor browser to even access it. Red flag number one? Yeah, I know. But I didn't care. Curiosity greater than common sense, I guess. The site itself was super basic. Black background. Red text, no branding, just one line. Welcome to the fire room. Pay to watch, stay to burn. Beneath that was a payment box asking for 0.003 BTC, which is like around $120 at the time. There was a live countdown, said the show started at 3 a.m. EST, which was about 4 hours from then. I hesitated, but I had some spare crypto from when I messed around with NFTs back in the day. I figured it was just some edgy art project or a weird live action performance piece. You know, like those Twitch args that get creepy but never actually do anything. So, I paid, and I regret that so much. Around 2:59 a.m., the black screen changed. A new message popped up. You've entered the fire room. Do not speak. Do not leave. Do not look away. Then it cut to a grainy video feed. Looked like CCTV footage, low res and slightly distorted, almost like there was heat radiating from the screen. The room was lit with this horrible reddish-orange light, and the walls looked like charred concrete. In the middle was a single wooden chair, bolted to the floor. Empty. For like 10 minutes, nothing happened. I remember sitting there, thinking I got scammed. I started scrolling through TikTok on my phone. I was watching some guy prank people at Starbucks when I noticed the sound from the stream change. There was this dull hum, like a furnace kicking on, then something even worse, breathing, heavy, raspy, labored, like someone had just run a marathon through smoke. The chair was still empty, but someone, or something, was just out of frame. I could feel it. Then the chat opened. Yeah, the chat There were about 30 usernames online. Most were anonymous strings of letters and numbers. One of them typed, "You're not supposed to be here." My heart dropped. I hadn't typed anything. I hadn't clicked anything. But that message, I knew it was for me. My username was just a random string generated by the browser. But still, I had that gut feeling you get when someone says your name in a crowded room. I closed the chat. That's when the chair started smoking. I thought it was an effect, some kind of fog machine or pre-recorded video. But then I smelled it. Like, actually smelled it. My room, my real-life bedroom, started smelling like burning wood. At first, it was faint, but within seconds, it was like someone lit a bonfire under my desk. I jumped up and checked everything. My computer, my desk lamp, my outlets. Everything was cold. Nothing was smoking. But the smell was real, like burnt pine and melted plastic. Back on the screen, the chair was now on fire. No one had entered. No gasoline. Just flames, rising higher and higher, licking the ceiling. And then the screen glitched. Not a typical digital glitch, either. It was like the pixels on my screen were melting, warping into the shape of a face for a split second. Pale, with hollow sockets where the eyes should have been. I slammed my laptop shut, but the smell didn't stop. I ran to the window and threw it open. Cold November air hit my face, but the smell of burning wood lingered. My hallway smoke alarm hadn't gone off. Nothing in the apartment complex was on fire. Just me. Just my space. I swear to God, I started hearing whispers behind me, like someone was talking into my ear through a walkie-talkie from hell. Static and breath and one clear phrase. "You watched. Now you burn." That was 4 nights ago. Since then, the smell keeps coming back. At exactly 3 a.m., my laptop, fried, doesn't even turn on anymore. And earlier today, my neighbor came by and said she saw someone standing outside my window last night. She thought it was me, until she realized I was inside. I don't know what I paid to watch. I don't know how it followed me here. But I think tomorrow night, I'm going back into the fire room. I found a way to access it again, on my friend's laptop. The page isn't down. The chair's back. Empty. Waiting. All right. Back again. I didn't plan to post a part 2. After what happened last time, I honestly thought it would just stop. Like maybe I hallucinated the whole thing. The fire, the smell, the creepy-ass whispers in my apartment. I even told myself it was a panic attack. Sleep deprivation, stress from work, too many horror videos on autoplay while I fall asleep. You know, that usual cop-out stuff. But what happened last night? Number. That wasn't in my head. And I think the fire room knows I'm talking about it now. So yeah, after the first night, I tried to go back to normal. I deleted Tor, wiped my history, and tossed my fried laptop in one of those giant e-waste bins behind a Best Buy in Center City. Didn't even want to risk trying to fix it. It still smelled like burnt glue, and weirdly enough, the keyboard was warped, like it had melted under a heat lamp. I didn't tell anyone, not even my roommate Jake. He travels a lot for work, and was out in Tokyo at the time. I figured the less people involved, the better. But that night, I woke up at 3 a.m. again. Every light in my apartment was off, which was weird, because I always leave the kitchen light on, not for any deep reason, just because I'm scared of bugs and hate walking into a dark room. I got up, annoyed, and stumbled over to the kitchen. That's when I saw it. Not smoke, not a fire. Ash. Actual black ash, like the kind you see at the bottom of a fire pit, was scattered across the floor, in this perfect circular pattern, about 4 feet wide, dead center of the living room. I stared at it for a solid 30 seconds before I even moved. There was no trail, no source, no logical reason why there should be ash in my apartment, especially in a perfect circle like that. Then I noticed something worse. Footprints. My footprints. I had walked right through the circle, barefoot. The next morning I tried scrubbing the floor. I used bleach, Lysol, even baking soda. Nothing worked. The ash just smeared, like it was part of the floor now. And when I checked the security cam on my Ring doorbell, the footage from 2:45 to 3:30 a.m. was just gone, like it glitched out, which is when I made the second stupidest decision of my life. I borrowed Jake's laptop and went back on the dark web. I had to know. I had to see if the fire room was still there. Same exact site, same black background, same text. Welcome back. We remember you. No payment request this time. Just a stream. Already live. I clicked. And what I saw, it was the same room, but it was different. There were burn marks on the walls now, and the chair looked charred, like it had been lit on fire over and over again. But here's the worst part. There was writing on the wall, written in thick black ash. 4 words. Get out of there. I didn't know if it was a warning or a taunt. Then the chat opened again. This time, there were only 3 users online. One of them had my exact device ID, which shouldn't even be possible on Tor. It shouldn't be able to identify you like that. But there it was. My session ID, copied and pasted as a username. Then a message popped up. You're already inside. I slammed the laptop shut and tossed it across the couch. Heart racing. I was shaking, like full body trembling. Not scared, not even panicking. Just this deep, skin-crawling dread, like something was watching me from inside the fucking walls. Then I heard something move in the hallway, and I remembered. Jake's out of the country. I grabbed the nearest thing I could find, a metal curtain rod, and tiptoed down the hallway. I flipped the lights on, one by one. My bedroom? Empty. Bathroom? Empty. The guest room? I didn't even open it. It was freezing cold, like I could see my breath when I stood in front of the door. I backed away. I don't know why. Something about that room didn't feel real anymore. Instead, I opened the hallway closet, and inside, there was a single USB drive on the shelf, wrapped in black tape. No label, no explanation, just sitting there like it had been left for me. I didn't put it there. Jake didn't put it there. I haven't opened that closet in 2 weeks, and there's no way anyone got inside. I locked my door with a fob, and the hallway cam, when it's working, didn't show anyone entering the unit. So what the hell is going on? I waited until daylight to plug the USB in. Big mistake. There was only one file in it. A video. No title, just a timestamp. 3:00 am.mp4. I hit play. It was footage from inside my apartment. Same camera angle as my living room security cam, but higher up, like it was filmed from the ceiling. But here's the thing. I don't have a ceiling cam. The video showed me, asleep on the couch. Then, at exactly 3 a.m., the lights flickered. The ash circle appeared on the floor. And something, I swear to you, something stepped out of the circle. Not a person. It was tall, skeletal. Skin looked stretched, raw, like it was burned all over. Its head was wrong, long and sharp, almost like a melted gas mask, and it just stood there, watching me sleep. Then it looked up at the camera and smiled, like it knew I'd be watching this later. I haven't left my apartment in 2 days. I don't know who to call. What do I say? Hey, I watched a dark web livestream, and now a crispy demon is stalking me in my IKEA furnished apartment. They just 302 me. Lock me up. But I'm not crazy. I know what I saw. And last night, I caught a new smell. Hair. Burnt human hair. The kind you can't forget once you've smelled it. I think tonight, it's coming back. But this time, it won't just watch. And I don't think the chair is for someone else anymore. Let me know if you're still reading. I don't know how many nights I've got left, but if you've ever been invited to watch the fire room, don't. Once you enter, it doesn't let you leave. Because the room remembers. Yo, if you've been following this, welcome back. If you're new, buckle up. This is part 3 of the most insane, unexplainable, real-life horror story I've ever lived through. And I'm not saying that for dramatic effect. This isn't a prank, or an ARG, or some Reddit creative writing project. I'm just some dude who wanted to see something creepy on the internet. And now I legit don't know if I'm gonna survive the next few days. Alright, here's what happened after the video on that USB drive. So after I watched the footage of myself sleeping, you know, the one where that burnt, skin-peeling shadow thing just walks out of an ash circle in my living room, like it's clocking in for the night shift. I kinda just sat on the floor for like an hour. I didn't move, didn't blink, didn't even breathe right. I was just sitting there, staring at my reflection in the black laptop screen, like I was waiting for my face to melt too. That thing, it didn't just look at the camera, it smiled, like it was posing. I kept telling myself, yo, maybe it's edited, maybe someone's messing with me, maybe this is one big elaborate prank. But then I realized, I live alone. No one else has keys. No one could have broken in and planted a hidden camera without showing up on any of my hallway footage, unless they didn't need to use the door. I called my best friend Lucas. He's one of those conspiracy-obsessed tech guys who built his own gaming PC and thinks the moon landing was probably real, but staged better. We haven't talked a ton since high school, but we played Fortnite together last week, so I figured he wouldn't think I was completely nuts. I texted him like, yo dude, I've got a serious question. Can someone make a live stream smell like real smoke in your house? And he replied with, bro what? I ended up FaceTiming him and explaining everything. The site, the chair, the ash, the USB. He laughed at first. Thought it was some kind of horror marketing thing, like those ARGS for indie games or YouTube horror series. But then I showed him the ash circle in my living room and the file on the USB, and that's when he stopped laughing. He asked me to send the video to him so he could analyze it, but the second I plugged the USB back in, the file was gone. Like, literally. The whole USB was empty. No corrupted file. No hidden folders. Just blank. Lucas told me he'd come over the next day and run a signal scan on my Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connections to see if there were any weird transmissions coming in. But until then, he just said the words I didn't want to hear. Dude, don't open the site again. Whatever it is, you're probably feeding it. Yeah, feeding it. I tried to stay off the internet that night. Didn't even touch my phone. I turned off my Xbox, closed every tab. I even unplugged the router just to feel like I had some kind of control. But when I went to bed, I had the most vivid dream I've ever had in my life. I was sitting in the chair. You know, the chair. The one in the fire room. But I wasn't restrained. I could move. I looked down and my hands were covered in black soot. My skin looked blistered. My mouth tasted like charcoal. All around me were whispers, thousands of overlapping voices hissing the same words on a loop. You watched, now you burn. You watched, now you burn. I woke up gasping for air, like literally choking, and the whole room smelled like someone lit a trash fire in my closet. This wasn't a nightmare. It was a message. The next day, Lucas actually showed up, which, honestly, I didn't expect him to. He lives like an hour away, and he's chronically lazy unless there's free food involved. He brought over this big, ugly laptop that looked like something a hacker in a 90s movie would use. He had all these apps that scanned radio frequencies, did MAC address detection, signal triangulation, stuff I only vaguely understood because I watch way too many YouTube documentaries at 3 a.m. After about 45 minutes of scanning, Lucas just sat back and stared at the screen. I asked, "What? What's wrong?" He just said, "Dude, there's something broadcasting in here, but it's not from outside." He showed me the logs. There was this signal, short range, barely detectable, but constant, broadcasting on a strange frequency. It didn't match any local Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or known smart devices. The weird part, the source was moving. Every few minutes, it would change position slightly, like it was pacing. Lucas looked at me dead serious and said, "Whatever this is, it's in the apartment. Like physically here. Either you got some experimental tech buried in the walls, or something straight up haunting your Wi-Fi." We left. Straight up packed a bag and dipped. Went to a 24-hour diner near a Wawa and stayed there until sunrise. I didn't even eat. Just sat there watching the door while Lucas went on some insane Reddit deep dive about dark web curses, electromagnetic spirits, and transdimensional signal parasites. Most of it was garbage, except one thread. A deleted user had posted a warning like a year ago with the title, "Do not watch the chair show. It doesn't end when you log off." Sound familiar? The post went into detail about a show that finds its way back, visual anchors, and something called a resonance burn. Basically, the idea that some images can act like a signal beacon for entities. If you watch them, they mark you. You can delete the files, destroy the hardware, move houses. Doesn't matter. You've been seen. Lucas wanted to go back and test a theory. I said, hell no. He said, "Dude, we gotta see what it wants." I said, "No. We already know what it wants. It wants me in the chair." He didn't respond to that, but later that night, I caught him watching something on his laptop when he thought I was asleep. I leaned over his shoulder. It was the fire room, live again. But now, the walls were different. There were photos on the wall. My photos. Me at Disney when I was a kid. A group photo from senior prom. A screenshot of my TikTok account. And in the center, the chair. Empty. Still smoking. Still waiting. That was 4 hours ago. Now we're back in my apartment. I didn't want to come back, but Lucas said we need more gear. We're leaving again tonight. Maybe a hotel or an Airbnb in another city. Somewhere far. But I just got out of the shower, and on the bathroom mirror, written in the steam, clear as day, "Your seat is ready." If you've ever seen the fire room, if you've ever watched even 1 second of that stream, you might have already been seen too. Yo, it's been 2 days since I posted the last update. I didn't want to write this. Honestly, I've been avoiding it. I thought if I stopped talking about it, stopped giving it attention, maybe it would go away. Spoiler, it didn't. This time, it came closer. Not in a dream, not in a video, not even through a screen. It came into my life. For real. So let me explain everything that happened. From the moment we left the apartment, to the second someone told me, face to face, that I'm not getting out of this. After that night in the apartment, the mirror message, "Your seat is ready," I was done. I told Lucas I was leaving. Didn't care where. Just somewhere far. And not in the city. I needed woods, air, real distance from everything. Lucas said we could crash at his uncle's cabin about 2 hours north, near the Pocono Mountains. Completely off-grid. No internet. No cell service. Just dirt roads and trees and spotty-ass radio stations. It sounded perfect. We packed everything, left before dark. The entire ride, I kept checking behind us. I couldn't shake this feeling that something was following, but not in a car or anything. It was like the fire itself was stalking us. I had that phantom smell again too. Burnt fabric, like a melted toaster or scorched carpet. Lucas kept saying I looked pale. He asked, "Yo, you good?" I told him I didn't sleep. I told him I felt like someone was going to reach through the windshield at any second and pull me into the sky. He didn't laugh this time. The cabin was small, cozy even. 2 bedrooms, a fireplace, no Wi-Fi. The only tech in the whole place was an old portable DVD player and a stack of scratched up 90s movies. We watched The Matrix on repeat because it was literally the only disc that worked. That first night was the first time in weeks I didn't see the fire room. No chair, no ash, no whispering, no smoke. I thought maybe we were safe, like the connection had been cut, like the stream couldn't reach this far. But then day 2 happened, and everything changed. It started with the sky. Dead serious. The sky looked wrong. It wasn't cloudy. It wasn't stormy. It was just flat, like a painted ceiling in a mall. You ever stare at something and your brain goes, "That doesn't feel real." That was it. And then I noticed the birds. There weren't any. Not a single sound. No rustling. No bugs. No wind. Just dead silence. Lucas was outside chopping wood, and I was inside brushing my teeth when the sink started gurgling, like something thick was caught in the drain. I turned it off, waited, then I heard it. A hiss, not like steam, more like something breathing. I leaned down to the sink. Big mistake, because when I looked into the drain, I saw a single burning red eye staring back at me. I swear to you, it blinked. I fell backward into the bathtub, smacked my elbow, screamed. Lucas ran in with the axe, thinking I was getting attacked by a bear or something. But by the time he got there, the sink was empty, just water. We decided to leave that night. Screw the woods, screw the cabin. We were heading back to the city. I know, dumb idea, but at least I could call someone. At least there were people around. Except we never made it. About 45 minutes into the drive, right around this bend near an abandoned gas station, we saw this girl on the side of the road. She looked like she was in her early 20s, pale, hair matted with leaves, wearing a hoodie that was melted around the edges, like it had caught fire and was extinguished halfway through burning. Lucas slowed the car and rolled down the window. "Hey, you okay? You need a ride?" She didn't answer. She just pointed at me, then said the most terrifying words I've ever heard in my life. "The chair is yours now." Lucas floored it. Didn't say a word until we were 10 miles past her. I was frozen in the passenger seat, heart thumping like a drum line. I didn't even realize I was crying until I wiped my face and saw black soot on my palm. We ended up sleeping in a Starbucks parking lot next to a Target that night, because there was no way I was going home. Not after what that girl said. In the morning, we went back to my apartment just to grab some of my stuff. But the second we walked in, the smell hit us. It wasn't just smoke anymore. It was flesh, burned meat, like someone lit a steak on fire and left it to melt through the stove. Lucas gagged. I ran to my room, and sitting on my bed was the chair. That chair, same one from the stream, wooden, bolted, burnt, still warm to the touch. I backed out of the room. Nope, not doing this, not happening. I was done. We stayed with Lucas's cousin in New Jersey the next night. She lives in a gated community, cameras everywhere, bright floodlights, security patrols, and even there, it followed. Around 3:12 a.m., the backyard motion sensor light triggered. Lucas looked at the camera feed and straight up dropped his phone. The video showed a figure standing on the patio, not moving, just standing there. We zoomed in. The figure had no face, no skin, just burned muscle and a blackened smile stretched from ear to ear. And in its hand, a phone, showing a live stream of me, sleeping, in real time. I don't know how to stop this. I don't know if there is a way. We tried deleting everything, tossing the laptop, burning the USB, even wiped our phones. None of it mattered. The fire room isn't a show anymore. It's a place. And once you see it, once you watch it, it knows your name. Last night, someone left a note under the windshield wiper of Lucas's car. Handwritten, no return address. It said, "When you're ready, take your seat. You've seen the fire. Now you become it. TL:"DR. We left the apartment and went off-grid in the woods. Thought we escaped the fire room, but it followed us. Showed up in reflections, the sky, even people. The chair physically appeared in my bedroom. I don't think this is a stream anymore. I think it's real, and I think it's mine now. Hey, this is probably the last time I'll be posting here. Not in that I'm too scared to continue kind of way. I mean it in the literal sense. I don't think I'll be here much longer. Not me, anyway. But before I go, I need to tell you what happened. Because maybe, if this ever shows up in your feed, and you've been curious enough to find the fire room, this'll stop you. Or maybe it won't. Maybe you're already marked. So where did I leave off? Right. The chair showed up in my room. The burnt thing was watching me sleep from a backyard camera. There was a note telling me, "When you're ready, take your seat." At that point, I started spiraling, like full-on breakdown mode. Lucas stayed with me for a couple days, but I think he was too scared to say what we were both thinking. Whatever the fire room is, I've crossed the line. There's no more pretend. It's not just a stream. It's not a video. It's a place, a thing, a presence, and somehow it wants me. We tried everything. I even called a tech-savvy priest Lucas found on Reddit. Yeah, I'm serious. He goes by at St. Firewall and claims to exorcise cursed digital systems. The guy showed up in full clerical gear with a briefcase full of copper wiring, holy water, and an EMF scanner. He walked into my apartment, took one look at the chair still sitting in my room, and noped out immediately. Just turned to us and said, "This ain't haunted. This is anchored." He told me the chair was tethered to my digital signature and that it's probably connected to some deep web ritual. like a visual beacon or mnemonic possession portal. Again, actual words. I don't know if he was legit or just an extremely well-researched cosplayer, but one thing he said stuck with me. The only way out is through. I didn't understand what that meant until the last night. 2 nights ago, I started sleepwalking. I've never sleepwalked before in my life, but Lucas caught me just standing in the middle of the kitchen, eyes open, breathing heavy, muttering something. He told me it sounded like, "The fire is cold, the fire is cold." And then I started walking toward the chair, like in slow motion. Lucas tried to stop me, like physically grabbed me by the arm, but I turned around and shoved him across the room. He's taller than me, stronger than me, but in that moment, I wasn't me. He said my eyes were completely black. The next morning, I was back in bed, and the chair was gone. I thought maybe it was over. I thought maybe Lucas burned it, or took it somewhere. But when I asked, he just looked at me and said, "You sat down last night, bro. You sat down, and then it disappeared." I didn't believe him. I couldn't. That was supposed to be the end. The chair takes you. It doesn't just vanish and leave you alive. Unless sitting in it isn't death. It's transmission. Later that day, I noticed something. When I walked past the mirror, my reflection lagged behind me for a second. Just barely. Like a half-second delay. I tested it again, moved my arm, blinked. My reflection followed. Like it was buffering. It's like I wasn't synced with myself anymore. Then my phone rang. Blocked number. I don't normally answer those, but I did. A voice, completely emotionless, said, "Your stream has started. Thank you for participating." I hung up, checked all my devices. Everything was off. No camera, no apps running. But still, I heard it. A faint hum, like something was broadcasting from inside my head. That night, I did something stupid. I opened Tor again, typed in the original Fire Room link, and this time, I didn't get a black screen. I got a live stream. Only one viewer, one camera. It showed a room, burned walls, orange glow, ash on the ground, and in the middle, me, sitting in the chair. I stared at it for a full 10 minutes. I even waved my hand in front of my face in real life. And the guy in the stream, he waved too. It was a perfect copy, except the copy smiled wider than I ever could. Its skin began to crack. Flames started leaking out through the gaps in its cheeks and ribs like it was filled with fire. And then it looked directly at me and whispered, "We are the fire now." The screen went dark. I haven't slept since. My reflection has stopped moving. Sometimes I see my own face in reflections, even when I'm not there, like in store windows or turned off TVs. I saw my face grinning in the glass at McDonald's, just watching me walk by. Lucas doesn't answer my texts anymore. Everywhere I go, I hear static. And now the stream is live all the time. I've checked. Other people can find it now. I had a friend from Reddit check the link. He sent me a screenshot. The stream is titled, "Host, User 3301, Status, Live." That's my ID. That's me. And in the chat, people are talking, watching, typing messages like, "Yo, this one's good. He's glitching out hard, lol. Sit longer. You'll feel it." There's even a subscriber count now. It's rising. This morning, I woke up in a motel 3 towns over with no memory of how I got there. I checked my phone and found a video on it. I don't remember recording it. It was me, sitting in the chair again, smiling, speaking in a voice that wasn't mine. The fire spreads. The seats are multiplying. "You're next." I don't remember saying that, but it's me. I think I'm not a person anymore. I think I'm a channel, a node in some system that transmits something, a virus, a spirit, a cursed signal. I don't know, but I feel it in my bones now, like heat. It burns behind my eyes when I blink, and every time I close my laptop, it reopens itself to the stream. So, yeah, this is the last post, because if you're reading this, you probably clicked on the title, maybe out of curiosity, maybe just because it sounded spooky, but the moment you read about the chair, the moment you imagined it, that was enough. The signal's passed to you now. Don't watch it. Don't look for it. And whatever you do,